claims to be the fastest growing religious sect in the world. But where did this tax-exempt multi-billion-dollar multinational corporation come from?
The Complete Heretic's Guide to Western Religion, The Mormons, by David Fitzgerald, is now available at atheistaudiobooks.com.
You're listening to The Bill Ferguson Show on Secular Media Network.
Well, before we finish up here, I got a couple of little housekeeping things. One thing that did pop into my head when I was in Washington, D.C. at the Reason Rally, I had my first experience with Uber. I had known about it for quite a while, but just hadn't really given it a thought, and I very rarely end up using taxis, and partly because they're so expensive. But every once in a while I would use one in D.C. because my hotel was so far from the main cluster of hotels. I ended up using an Uber, and I adore it. It is amazing. Everything about it. You put the little app on your phone. It shows you the cars that are near your area. They're like little ants walking around on the map. And you hit the button, and it tells you how long they're going to be there, how long until they're going to be there. It shows you where they currently are, what roads they're on. It tells you the make and model, the license plate number, gives you a picture of the driver so you know who's picking you up. You hop in the car, and Uber tracks the fact that you and the car are moving together. And so it does provide you a little bit extra security in that if something does happen, they're going to know where they took you. So it's all watched, it's all observed, it's all tracked, and then when you get off or out of the cab, it automatically charges you. You don't have to hand over cash, you don't have to tip, you don't have to have money with you. It just all goes magically to your credit card. And taxi cab rides that would have cost me $30 to $35 plus apparently a tip is the way you normally do a cab. I did about 5 trips, and it ranged anywhere from $8 to $15. It's kind of a supply and demand thing. So if you want to ride an Uber at a time where the demand is high, the cost goes up a little bit. It also has this magical share a ride feature, which I noticed is not available in my hometown, which not too surprising. But in a bigger city, the Uber driver picked me up, drove 1 block, picked up another passenger, drove 12 miles, dropped me off, and the other passenger lived 4 blocks away from there. Simply amazing, the technology. I was talking to one of the doormen at the hotel, and I said, has Uber changed things? How does it affect cabs? And he says, cabs are doomed. So if the cab companies don't get this kind of technology in them. The other thing is that your Uber driver can call you and say, hey, where are you exactly, and help connect. You can call and contact them. It is really nice. And then, of course, when the ride's all done, you can rate the experience. And so the drivers know that. Every single vehicle I was in was immaculate. They weren't always brand new, but they're always only a few years old. And quite honestly, cleaner than most cabs that I've been in. It's absolutely amazing. So that's my thoughts on Uber. I now have a little break from conference going for a few weeks. The next thing I think I have is the Gateway to Reason conference in St. Louis. We'll have more information on that. That's going to be an amazing conference right in the middle of the Midwest. Some could say the heart of the Midwest. So if you weren't able to get to the Reason Rally and you live in the Midwest, or even if you don't, check out Gateway to Reason. Just Google it. That's going to be, I think, in August. I'll have to double check. I know I've got a few weeks. And then I've got to start looking at the fall schedule. There's SciCon in Las Vegas. There is a conference, and I'm sorry, the name escapes me, being put on in Michigan this fall, around late October. There will be Skepticon. And if you know of more conferences anywhere in the summer or the fall that I haven't mentioned yet, please let me know so I can share it with the other listeners. I'd be happy to do that. And with that, we're going to wrap up this short show. I'll talk to you next week. Ciao.